Brussels conference is about to begin, where you have MOS External Affairs MJ Akbar and Advisor of Foreign Affairs Sartaj Aziz from Pakistan, who's going to be present. We have a statement that is now coming from Pakistan's side. Now, this is what the Pakistan office has released, quoting the surgical operation across the line of control. They have said, Mr. Aziz pointed out that India also maintained direct military pressure on Pakistan through deployment of advanced weapon system, offensive troops positioning and exercises along the border to refine the capacity of surprise attack as envisaged in its cold start doctrine. So just as ahead of being in the same room as Indian Minister of State for External Affairs MJ Akbar for the Brussels conference of Afghanistan, advisor to Pakistan Prime Minister on Foreign Affairs Sartaj Aziz accusing India of sponsoring terrorism. Aziz was speaking at the European Institute of Asian Studies in Brussels. He accused India of sponsoring terrorist campaigns in Pakistan to foment separatist movement as well as of ceasefire violations. He went ahead and added that India opposes the China-Pak economic corridor for no apparent reason than to obstruct the economic development of Pakistan. It's once again the blame game that Pakistan is indulging in, the same scripted response that we're seeing ahead of that conference, where there were expectations that were high that there could be an exchange of words, an exchange of handshake, or there could be so-in relations between MJ Akbar and Sartaj Aziz. But Sartaj Aziz setting the tone well ahead of that conference. We have Smita, who's joining us with more details. Smita, we are just quoting from what Sartaj Aziz's office has released. Now, Pakistan is back to blaming India for sponsoring terrorism in its country. Nothing could be far from that lie.
You know, there's absolutely a series of lies that is actually spoken of in the address. India clearly has been objecting to the China-Pakistan economic corridor because it says that it's being built through the illegal territory of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and that's why those objections have been raised. But Sartaj Aziz seems to be giving it a spin and saying that India is basically trying to obstruct Pakistan's economic development as far as that corridor is concerned. So, the sources that I've been speaking to, they say that it's unlikely at the moment, keeping in mind the tensions between the two countries, that the two will literally sit down and have an exchange of words. Of course, the two NSAs have spoken. Ajit Doval did speak to his Pakistani counterpart of, Nasir Jandua recently, and what sources suggested that, Ajit Doval in a way made it very clear that unlike in the Pathankot attack scenario where India allowed a joint investigation team, including an ISI officer, to actually visit one of its forward bases in Pathankot, this was not going to be the scenario with the Uri attacks because India has had enough. And hinting that possibly, India was not looking at any further restraint if Pakistan were to really escalate the situation. So Sartaj Aziz trying to portray it in another way just hours ahead of this meeting does not really help. And MJ Akbar and Sartaj Aziz, who did not meet along the sidelines of even the UNGA summit, they were in the same room with 8 members at that SARC meeting, which is an annual event. Here in this room, there will be at least 48 members from different countries, different organizations, world institutions like the UNESCO, World Bank. So little chances of them really sitting down for a bilateral exchange.
All right, Smita, he's already set the tone, though, for a bilateral exchange not being on the cards with that message coming out. We also have Kaswar, who's joining us from Islamabad. Now, Kaswar, this is where Pakistan had an opportunity. This is where Pakistan could have eased out the tensions between the two countries. But Sartaj Aziz once again choosing the other way.
Yes, definitely, as you have rightly pointed out, Samita just tells us that Sartaj Aziz reiterated his stance that India is sponsoring terror in Pakistan. But the thing is, the really important thing is, Pakistan has some proof in this regard as well. So back there, the allegation they have captured the Indian, the alleged spy Kulbhushan Yadav, and definitely, according to my sources, Pakistan has shared some of the proofs with Indian government as well in this regard. So definitely, Sartaj Aziz and the Pakistani government officials have something to prove this allegation as well. But as your question regarding the pacified bilateral relation is concerned, definitely the two sides, according to my sources, are in contact. As Samita has rightly pointed out, Ajit Doval has, established telephonic contact with the Pakistani counterpart, Mr. Nasir Jandua, and also, according to our sources, one of the special assistant of Prime Minister.
But this is where Pakistan has got it wrong. They're saying that India is violating ceasefire violation, but here it's what's happened. You had ceasefire being violated from the Pakistani side. Also, Pakistan dragging in the Pak-China economic corridor on the POK, which it says India is opposing, but the fact remains that it's Pakistan which has tried to give favors to China for its support as well. So we talk more about that. We're taking a very short break, and this is a proof that